Today's lecture is that uh, the first lecture of our lab. So we learn how to design the program. So program is being designed with the help of an algorithm. So first we design the algorithm. On the basis of the algorithm, we design the program. So on the screen, you can see the first point is write an algorithm to create an array. So first we're going to design that how we can create an array. So we write the algorithm how to create an array. So as I told you earlier, whenever we write the algorithm, every algorithm has a particular name. Every algorithm has a particular name. The name of my algorithm is what? That is ALGO. Algo is the name of my algorithm. Fine. And in the round bracket, I mentioned few important variables that I'm going to use in the designing or writing the code. So I mentioned AR is an array I'm going to use and is the size of the array. So I mentioned over there that ALGO is the name of the algorithm. So write one or two lines. What is the meaning of the heading of the algorithm? All right, over there, ALGO is the name of the algorithm. AR is the name of the array that I'm going to use in the algorithm, and N is the number of elements that I'm going to insert in my array. That N number of elements I want to insert in my array. So it means ALGO is name of algorithm I mentioned over here. So this become that ALGO is, so whenever you write an algorithm, mention the name of algorithm first in such a way, name of algorithm in around bracket, mention few variables, important variables, and after that just define in one or two lines that ALGO is the name of the algorithm and AR is the name of the array that I'm going to use in the algorithm, and N is the number of elements that I'm going to insert in the element in the array to create an array, right? So every algorithm start with the first point, that is start. So this first step tells me that I'm going to start my algorithm. So the first point tells that I'm going to start my algorithm. After starting, I mentioned that set n and AR20 as integer. So there's a variable n and there is an array AR. The maximum size is 20. I mentioned that I set them as type of integer, that I have to give the value of n as some integer value, and all the value that I enter in my array, that must be integer values. So I cannot add float or character over there. So set n and AR as integer. Then print enter number of elements. So you can write no dot or something, just write full number. Enter number of elements. So on the screen you will get a message that user enter the number of elements. Then user enter the value of n. How many elements you want to enter? That value of n. It means whatever the value you type via the keyboard, that value will be stored in n. Let's say I type 5, then in the program the value of n will become 5. Fine. So it means n become 5. So user enter the value of n. It means that I'm going to use the statement c in if I'm going to make the programming of it. Print means see out, and user enter the value means user going to send some input, and whenever we send some input to the program, we always use cin over there. So the first step mentioned us that user enter the value, that we are going to use the state instruction cin in our programming whenever we start programming. Okay, print enter the values. So on the screen you get the statement that start entering the value. Set loop. So we are going to make a loop, start a loop from here. Set loop, I give the word I as 1 to n. So I start the loop from 1 to n, and that loop is being handled by the variable I. So user enter uh, the elements of array AI. That user will enter the value of a of 1. Then user will enter the value of a of 2. User will enter the value of a of 3. User will enter the value of a of 4 and user will enter the value of a of 5. As we have given the value of n as 5, it means user enter the 5 values, and that 5 values are being stored in a1, a2, a3, a4 and a5. That 5 values must be integer, because we have mentioned in step number 2 that set array as integer. In fact, I write over here AR, because the name of the array is AR. So whenever you're writing the algorithm, do check that whatever value we have defined earlier, that value will remain same in all the algorithm steps. Okay, after user enter the value, I write over here end of loop step 6. Step 6 means that the loop that is being started at step 6 is get ended after step 7. So do write over there the end of loop step 6. The loop that I have started at step 6 is now ended when step 7 is over. Fine. Again, after end of the step 6 loop, I again started one more loop. So at step number 8, again set loop I is equal to 1 to n. First loop was to user feed the value. Second loop is the computer show the output of the that we have created the array. So in the step number 8, set loop is equal to 1 to n. Again print AR of I. All the values get printed on screen. Again I write over here end of loop of step number 8. The loop that is being started at step number 8 is being get closed by completion of step number 9. And finally I write over there stop, that my algorithm gets stop over here. So if I create an array, so I write the algorithm that is having 10 steps. So within 10 steps, I mentioned that how to create an array, how to feed the elements in the array, and after feeding the elements in the array, how the computer show me the output. So this is the algorithm. On the basis of algorithm, I design the program. Use all the header files that you want to. So whenever you design a C program or C++ program, enter all the header files. Word main mention that our program is going to start at this particular point. So clear screen, if there is any something is on screen, it will get clear whenever we the program show us output. Okay, set NAR as integer. It means I write over here int n comma AR20. It means in step number 2 of algorithm, I mentioned that set NAR as integer. In programming side, I mentioned int a and then AR as integer. So both are something somehow similar, but in algorithm I use simple English word, but in programming case I have used instructions as mentioned by the programming language. So I write int n comma AR20. Then in algorithm I mentioned print enter number of elements. In program I write as C out enter number of elements, because in C++ we write the instruction C out that the computer will show us on screen that enter number of elements. In algorithm user enter the value of n. I over here I use the instruction of C++ as C in n. Whatever value the user will enter by the keyboard, that value will be stored in n. As I told you earlier, I enter 5. If it become 5, the value of n will become 5. Again in algorithm, uh, print enter the values. Again cout enter the values. So in algorithm I measured print enter the values, and in the programming I write the instruction, whatever instruction we have to use to get some output on screen. So I use cout over there. Cout enter the values. And step number 6 of algorithm, set loop I is equal to 1 to n. In programming I write the loop starting from for int I. uh, I use int I over here because I didn't mention over here that I is an integer. That's why I write int over here. If I write int this I comma n comma AR20, then no need to write int over here. That because I didn't mention over here, that's why I written over here int. I is equal to 1 to n. So similarly in loop step number 6, I written over there set loop 1 and 1 to n. Okay. The loop starts after for user enter the value of elements. So if the user want to feed some element, the instruction for that is cin. I mentioned write the instruction cin. It will run n number of times. The value of n is 5. It will run 5 times. And user have to enter 5 values. So you can check over here. After step number 7, I am mentioned over there end of loop. So this is your end of loop. Fine. Again, the loop starts. Set in the algorithm, step number 8 is set loop 1 to n. I again use the instruction that is required to start the loop for I is equal to 1 to n less than equal to n I plus plus. My loop started. In the array, I mentioned print, and in the program, I write the instruction as per whatever instruction required to print in the coding language. And I mentioned in the algorithm end of loop, and over here I close my loop and my program finished over here. So this program is very much easy because I know what step I have to use to create the algorithm, to create an array using the algorithm. So first I write the algorithm, then I write the program. The algorithm will help me that how to uh, design it. If designing is ready, definitely coding become more easy because I understand the concept that how to uh, design the program, how to go for the coding. Now we start with the next problem, that how to design the algorithm, and after designing the algorithm, how we can create the program or design the coding and go for coding. So next is the write an algorithm to insert an element at end of array. So we already created an array of size n and was 5. If I want to add some more element at end of array, the n becomes 6. So ARINSRT is the name of the algorithm. A, N, M, what these things are. So I mentioned in the 2 lines that ARNSRT is the name of the algorithm. A is the name of the array that I'm going to use. N is the number of element in the array. So let's say currently there are 5 elements, the N become 5. And M is the new element that I'm going to insert in the array. So M have some particular value. That value will be inserted at the end of the array. So I introduce my algorithm in 2 lines very briefly. So again, the first point is start, that I'm going to start my array. Okay. Again, set a 10. This 10 you can increase or decrease the size of value as per your requirement. A 10 and M as integer. So whenever I go for coding, I initialize these 3 variables of type integer. So I write over there set a 10 m n as integer. So whatever value I give to variable m, that must be integer. Whatever value I give to n, that must be integer. And whatever value that should be entered in array, that must be integer. Print number of elements. So again, what I do is initially I create an array. So I want to add, let's say, 5 numbers. So the computer asks the user that enter how many numbers you want to add. So I said enter the value of n. So user enter the value, that user give the value that I want to enter 5 numbers. Again, print enter the numbers. I started the loop set to I1 to n. So user enter the value 5 times because I initially mentioned that the value of my array is 5. So again, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, some values being given over there. Again, user enter the value 5 times, and you can check over here. Very carefully write over there end of loop of step. Do check the step number over here. The step number is 6. This step number should be 6. So there should be not any mistake over here. That if I write over there 7, but there is no loop at 7. So there's loop at step 6. So that this looping number and this step number must be same, so that you have no confusion when you understand the algorithm and design the code. So it means end of loop of step 7, that after entering the number, my loop that I started on step number 6 is now got finished. After that, again, print enter the number of element to be added, and enter the number to be added. What number I want to add at the end of the element. Let's say that at a of 1, I was having 4. Then a of 2, I was having 5. A of 3, I was having, let's say, any number 23. A of 4, I was having 77. And a of 5, I was having, let's say, any number 11. So I already entered 5 numbers. So I said that the new number I want to add 99. So it means after 11, the value should be 99 of a of 6. So set, enter the value, m m is 99. So I write over there set a of n plus 1. So what is the value of n? The value of n is a of 5. The value of n is 5 plus 1. It means this become a of 6. So I entered the value 99. It means a of 6 will become 99. So again, I use a statement over there, print an element in the array after adding new number. So after I added a new number into the array, so what will be the output of my array? Earlier, my loop was up till n. Now my loop is up till n plus 1 because I have added one more number. So my loop start print AR. Now what will happen? Now I just copy all these things. Copy, print. Oh. Now I have n plus 1. It become a of 6 will become 99. One more element is added at the end of the array. And I mentioned over here end of loop of step 12. You can see at step 12 I started a loop. That loop ended over here and my algorithm got stopped. So your algorithm must have a starting point and have an ending point also. I mentioned that here my algorithm starts and here my algorithm stop. Fine. So this algorithm tells me that how I can add a number at the end of the algorithm. So again, if I check it out, or use all the header files, whatever they have to use. So I write over here, set 8 and m as integer. I mentioned over here int a and m as integer. So whatever language you are using, a particular instruction must be used to initialize the variable. So in C or C++, you can initialize the variable of type integer by using such type of statement. Int represent data type, and this are the name of the variables as well as the array that I'm going to use in my program. Then in the algorithm, I written over there print enter number of elements. In the coding, I write cout because to print something on screen in C++, you can use cout, and user enter the value with cin. Again, print enter number of elements. My loop started over here. So as you can see, set loop. So my loop start over here. So I have used this instruction for loop as for user enter the value 5 times, then enter number to be added. You enter the value of m. As I told you earlier, that value of m is 99. So it become the number of array after adding new number. So you can write over here again, for loop is being written over here, and now a new number is being added. Earlier the value of n was 5, now it becomes 6. And you get all the 6 values over here. So this is how we can design an algorithm, and with the help of algorithm we can easily create a program using any coding language. Next is that write an algorithm to delete the element from an array. Now we want to delete an element from array at any location, from any location, whatever location it is. So I write the number uh, that is in an array. If that number is in array, it will get deleted. If the number is not in array, then I get a message that the number you want to delete is not in array. Again, first of all, understand the how to write an algorithm. So write an algorithm to delete an element from an array. So algo del is the name of the algorithm. So these are the few main elements that I have used in my algorithm. So when within 2 or 3 lines, I mentioned that ALGO is the name of the algorithm, and ARR is the name of the array that I have used in my problem solving. N is a number of elements in the array that I'm having n number of elements in the array. LOC is the location from where I want to delete the element, or LOC is the location that tell me that at this location the element is located in the array that you want to delete. And del is the number that I want to delete. That del is the number I want to delete from the array. So if that number exists in array, then I can delete. If you take this example over here, I am having 6 number. Let's say I want to say that I want to delete number 88. So there is no 88 number over here. You can see in this 6 number, there is no 88 number in the array. So I will get the message, the number you want to delete is not in array. If I want to say, let's say I want to delete number 77, then what will happen? The 77 will get deleted. Over here I will get 11, and over here I will get 99. Okay, and that will get removed over there. So this is how we can write the program. So let's start with the algorithm. Every algorithm start with start. So I write over here set variable I, variable n, variable loc, the array ARR, variable DLL, and variable t is equal to 0 of type integer. So when I will start writing the coding, so whatever instruction that is being used in that coding language to initialize the variable of particular data type, I will do it. So the algorithm tell us that first step is that we have to initialize all the variables of type integer. Then print the number of element you want to enter in the array. So you get the output on screen that enter the number that you want to enter into your array. So user will enter the number n, whatever the instruction that the programming language use, that is user enter the value, you can use that instruction in the coding language whenever you do coding. So again, print enter number of elements in the array. I set a loop over here from 0 to n minus 1. Earlier loop starts from 1 to n. Now loop starts from 0 to n minus 1. So user enter the elements of array ARR. So user enter that n number of elements. If the value of n is 5, then 5 times you have to enter the value. So I write over here end of loop step number 6. The loop that is being started from step number 6 is now being ended over here. Fine. And again, set loop I is equal to 0 to n minus 1. Again, loop being started, and you print the element on screen. Again, end of loop step number 8. The loop that is being started at step number 8 is now being ended over here. Again, print enter the element you want to delete. So you cannot write this thing over here. enter the element you want to delete. So you have to write the algorithm is asking the user that enter the number you want to delete from the array. The user enter the number that is del. So whatever the number user enter, that number will be stored in the variable del. Whatever number you enter from via the keyboard. Again, loop starts from 0 to n-1. Set condition. So I set a condition. This condition is being used to check that the number I want to delete, whether that number is in my array or not. So set condition that if ARRI is equal to del, is there any element in the array that is equal to the variable that I want to delete? If it is true, yes, I find the element in the array that I want to delete. Then whatever the value of I will be, that value will stored at LOC. So whatever the value of I, that value of I will represent the location of that element in the array. And earlier, initially, I set over here t is equal to 0. The value of t now changed to 1. If I found the value. If I found the value of t will become 1. And print the location of the element to delete is del. That the print the location LOC. So whatever the value of LOC will print over here of the element to delete is over here. Fine. Use break statement to move out of the loop. So I will use the break statement using C or C++ so that I can jump out of the loop. So no more further loop go further. Whatever location I am at that location, I come out of the loop. So end of the if condition. So condition of step 13, you can check as step 13. I put the condition over there. That condition now ended over here. And end of loop step 12. The loop that I have started at step 12 is being ended over here. So do write these messages whenever you go for the algorithm. Again, I set a condition over here. If t is equal to 0 is true, it means that the n number of time my loop run and I was unable to find the element that I want to delete. If the element is not found in the array, then the t will remain as 0 because I initialized t as 0. If t is equal to 0, then what will happen? Print element del is not in array and exit. Exit means come out of the program. Break means come out of the loop. Exit means that the program will stop over there. And end of if condition that started as step number 17. So as step number, in fact, I write wrong over here. This should be step number 18. Fine, because the if condition was started at step number 18. So you can see that I have did a mistake of numbers over here. I written over 17. There is no loop at 17. So the loop, the if condition was 17. The condition was at step number 18. So be very careful whenever you're writing which step number. So set loop I is equal to if the element get deleted. If I find the element in my array and I want to delete the element again, then what will happen? Set loop is equal to location from whatever location I have started. At what location the element was found. So what LOC to n means from location the element del to the last element. The location at which the element I found to delete from that location. Set ARI is equal to ARI plus 1. It means that value is being overwritten by the next value. And again, end of value of loop 22. So this means the loop that is being started at 22, not 22, is 21. 21. The loop started at 21, is ended over here. And again, loop. Now this loop is used to print all the elements. Now it will print all the elements when one element gets deleted. Again, step number 24 is 23. Okay, and my program stop over here. So this is how I understand the concept, how I can delete the element from the array. First, I design the algorithm. After designing algorithm, I will understand the concept that what will I have to do. We have converted the algorithm to a program, include all the header files that are necessary while running the program. So initialize all the variables. Then cout means that you print something on screen. Cin means that user enter the value. Again cout that something will print it on screen. The loop got started over here. Enter n number of time the elements of array. Then print all the elements. Okay. Then enter the element you want to delete, which element you want to delete from the array. That element, whatever you enter from the keyboard, that value will be stored in the variable del. Now this loop and condition will check whether the element you have entered via keyboard in a del variable is in your array or not. If it is in your array, then the value of t will convert it from 0 to 1. If it is not in array, then t will remain 0. If your t will remain 0, then you will see check that element del is not in array, and you will use the exit statement that come out of the program, and you print all the values over here. In such a way, we can design our algorithm. Right? This is how we can design that how our program is being easily designed or easily being constructed when we design the algorithm. So this is the importance of the algorithm. That so I hope you understand today's lecture of algorithm designing, and after algorithm designing, how to create a program. Okay, so that's quite enough for today's lecture.